What's good? What's good? What's good in the hood? And welcome back to another episode of the Good in the Hood podcast. This week I'm joined by another amazing guest, probably my most honored guest I had so far. Big supporter of this woman. She's a amazing person who's done amazing things for Chicago, and it's definitely an honor to have you here, Nachelle Pugh. How you doing today, Shell?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much, Justin, for inviting me today.
Absolutely, absolutely. The executive director of the John Walt Foundation, um, multiple master's degrees. Born and raised in Chicago. A great background. And you also, like, in the midst of all this, of course, you're a mother of three, correct? So let's just start there. Like, just introduce yourself and your grind this far.
Okay, you said it. I'm the mother of three. God bless me with three beautiful babies. My oldest is my son Walter. My daughter Tatiana is the middle child, and the baby girl is Aaliyah. Walter happens to be a part of the hip hop collective Pivot Gang, one of the founding members.
Absolutely, absolutely. Long live John Walt. Every time he's mentioned, gotta say it. And we definitely go touch into John Walt and of course the impact that he's had and the way you continue his legacy throughout. But I definitely want to kind of start off with kind of introducing yourself and like your background, how and kind of getting into like how Walt became who Walt was, I guess, because I mean the bridge there is you and the way you raised him, and of course the way you continue to raise his name in a high level. So can you kind of start with like what got you to kind of where you are career wise now, and what kind of gave you the idea to go with the John Walt Foundation in response to the tragedy of Walt's loss.
Okay. Well, career wise, interesting story. So, when I graduated from high school, I wanted to go into radio broadcast. So,
Mm,
I attended Columbia College for a year, and during that time, I conceived Walt, and I had him. So, I only spent 1 year at Columbia College. During that time, I did have him. He was about 3 months old in my second semester, and my instructor. Um, he was a radio DJ on WCKG.
mm,
Controllable Operations was the class. I loved this class because it was
okay.
just like you felt like you was in this. Well, you were. We on one side of the classroom was the desk, and the other side was like the booth, kind of like when you were in the studio. And one week I was going to have to miss class because my childcare wasn't going to be my childcare was my grandparents, so my grandma needed to go to the doctor, and I asked him did he have a second class so I can come in and not miss that week's lecture, and he was like no, and he asked why, and I told him the reason, and he said, well, you know what, my wife and I, we have a 3 month old. And I'm like, okay. And he said, what I'm going to do is bring my playpen and bring Zach. He's 3 months, Walt's 3 months, and we're going to do this for the rest
That's
of school.
amazing.
Yeah, we're going to give your granny a day off, on Mondays when you have class because he can just come to class with us. So I brought him to class, and he hung out with us. The TA, if I had to go in the booth, she got the boys and played with them and stuff while we were doing what we needed to do. However, it kind of got to be too much as far as being a full time mother, full time employee, and a full time student. I just couldn't handle all of those things. But the one thing that I couldn't give up was being a full time mother. Um, so I had to stop going to Columbia and put a pause on my education. Um, so, with that being said, I was going to just kind of wait until he was school age to go back to school, but I
Mm,
ended up becoming a mother, a wife, and a full time employee. So it was kind of hard to kind of go back to school and do those things when you're trying to provide for a family. And I ended up putting it off and putting it off. And then so when my kids got old enough to go to school and be able to kind of fend for themselves with their homework and things of that nature, I didn't have to worry so much about them, making sure they had their schoolwork done. I went
Right.
back to school. And it was very trying. I always suggest with young people, if you can go to school and not have any responsibilities like being a parent, married and all those things, to just do it. Um, if your parents are able to take care of you while you're going to school, and that's the only job you got to have is to be a student, just do it, because it's a lot harder trying to go to work and then go to school in the evenings and then try to make it to your kids' events. So now you got to postpone certain things for yourself, and it was really hard. But I didn't care. I was going to do that and make sure that my kids saw that in our communities and in our neighborhoods that we do have strong Black women. And a lot of times our kids don't get that picture of a strong Black woman from in a community. They may get it from television, which could be absolutely wrong. It could be some kind
Right.
of stereotypical type of stuff, or like just how people portray, our people. We all laugh and watch a lot of movies and stuff, but sometimes that impact kind of hurts us as a community with our young people, because they're looking at, like, I like Medea, I laugh at Medea, but my grandma wouldn't run around toting no gun. And
Right.
you know it's fun and games, but some people
Right.
more
It's
literal.
exaggeration.
It's exaggeration. Some people take things more literal than
Right.
than others. And I just didn't want my kids to grow up thinking that that's how life is. And um, I went to school, and I took one class at a time at not Robert Morris, Malcolm X College, and I got an
Mm.
associate's degree in computer information systems. During that time, I was working at Rush University College of Nursing, and I ran their pre-licensure nursing program for a number of years. So that's where I started with my higher education administration positions that I had. Um, I just kept pushing. So once I finished that computer information services associate's degree, I got both my bachelor's and master's at the same time in business administration.
Wow.
Later on, right before Walt passed, I started going to school to get a second master's degree for higher education administration, and it kind of helped me. The funny thing is, like, I am horrible in math, so like all my math classes in college, I was like, "Boy, how do you do this?" And he was like, "Hey, just give it here," like, I mean, yeah, he did my math homework all the time. Those
That's amazing.
that bachelor's and that master's and then that final masters, he helped me with all my math work. So he was a part of that.
That's amazing. I always like. I remember like even early days. I always thought like it's crazy how book smart like Walt and Sab always kind of were. And it's amazing. It just runs in the family apparently. Like you, because like for you to have that drive to just know you going back to college when they get a certain age, that speaks a lot. That you just that education is important to you and you value that. And I can tell you pass it down to them as well because all three of your kids are geniuses in all different ways. So definitely hats off for that. But I definitely want to get into I didn't know this about you, the Columbia, the year Columbia and going there for radio. I went to a different school. I went for radio as well. But a big part of like Pivot Gang and like the networking they did was because like that Columbia College area, the Harold Washington Library, that whole scene. So that's a incredible just coincidence.
Yeah, yeah. I really wanted him to go to Columbia initially when he graduated from high school, because he wanted to be in the music industry. He loved the
Right,
art. He loved basketball too, so that was the other thing. When
right.
he graduated from high school, he got a full ride to St. Louis Christian College, and he wanted to go there so bad. And I'm like, well, that is not Catholic. There's a big difference with Christian college and Catholic school. And he was like, no, no. I'm like, yeah. So he ended up at St. Louis Christian College. And when he got down there, he was on a team playing ball. And then he starts calling me like, "Mom, they trying to make me do a ministry." A ministry? yeah, I don't want to do no ministry. And I'm like, okay. Like I specifically told these people, like my son, he goes to
Yeah.
Sunday, he goes to Bible study on Wednesday nights with the youth, and he's a Christian. He's not a pastor though. He does not
Right.
and none of that.
Yeah.
But he just he knows the Lord and the stuff in that Bible. Yeah, he knows it. He can he not preach you because he ain't gonna preach you, but he probably can educate you on everything that went on in that Bible. Doesn't mean that he wanted that. So he didn't get along with the coach, and he ended up coming back, and he went to Robert Morris. And so I met Robert Morris at that time when I was pursuing my both my bachelor's and my master's, and they were going to the Harold Washington Library for the U Media program. So sometimes he'll just meet me there, or sometimes he'll already be downtown. They just running around doing the things that they do. And he was like, oh, okay, well, I'm going across the street now. I'm like, let's see you. So I knew like a lot of the spaces that he was going in and what he enjoyed doing. 100% behind him, because like if you're not supportive of your kids, then who will be?
Absolutely. Like I remember like the old shows. I think the first time I actually met you, I think was at the Bucket List Project concert, and I was like, so that's Mama Pivot. That's everyone told me it's Mama Pivot. Like, okay, it's Mama Pivot, and you've always been around the scene and got to know everyone he was dealing with at the time, and it was amazing just to see the outpour of just love and just everyone who reached out to you and supported you after his untimely demise. Like everyone that reached out and just supported you through it all. Like you said, like you now you have like 100 different kids. Now you have a whole other group of kids now since then.
You just don't know. You guys are my family. And, one thing that I think about that Walt left me, um, when he left this earth in a physical state, I was broken. And I'm still broken. But what it seemed like happened is like he got up and all y'all, yeah, like y'all gotta take care of my mama. Y'all gotta make sure,
Absolutely.
and and I don't know if people just felt obligated to do so, or if that's just like I just feel like you guys are all just that type of a person, that warm, because like the people that you surround yourself with, a
Yeah,
lot of times we surround ourselves with like-minded people. You may have different interests or different things, but like as far as goals, as far as like family, as far as community, you kind of think in the same realms of the people that you surround yourself. And so
absolutely.
all the young people that I met, because like earlier in when they started with the music stuff, I was working two jobs and going to school. So it was hard for me to kind of step away and go to a show or something like that. So I didn't have an opportunity. So the first one I think I went to was, and it was crazy. I had went away to Key Lime Cove and took my youngest daughter and a
Mm.
couple of her cousins. And he called me in the middle of the night. There was a shooting on the expressway, and he was in the car with the young man that was driving the car, and somebody had shot at this guy's car. And I'm like, well, I'm on my way. And he was like, no, ma, you can't even get to me because they got the expressway backed all the way up. They're not letting anybody through. And I'm like, no, I'm on my way. And he was like, no, I'm good. And so I'm looking on Facebook. I'm like, okay, well, I told them kids, I said, look, y'all gonna have to fend for yourself. I'm getting ready to go get my baby because they got him on this expressway. He needs me. And I'm looking on Facebook, and my cousin just so happened to be on the expressway. He was coming from work, and he was like, "It's another shooting on the expressway. Traffic is stopped up. Blah blah blah." And I text him. I'm like, "That's Walt." He was like, "What?" And he was like, "Yeah." I'm on the expressway and whatever it is, I said he's not injured, but they won't let them go. And I'm trying to get to him. He said, you don't have to get to him. I got him. And so my cousin got out his car and walked down there to wherever it was. And he told the officers, look, that's my little cousin. I need to be here and support him. And so they was like, well, sir, this is a crime scene. You can't come across it. And he was like, well, I'm gonna stand right here. I'm gonna stand right here until you guys, done what you're doing. But he has family here with him. And the very next day, he had a show, and so I went to that show. It was at the Promontory, and I had never,
Okay.
yeah, I had never been there
Okay.
before. And it was him, and Scoop was DJing for him, and it was like, this is amazing. I've been missing this with my.
Yeah.
I've been missing this. And like, all these kids are so talented in this city of Chicago that they're up here, they're doing these shows and stuff, and I've been missing this. And I was just so proud of him. And the funny thing about it was, like, since I had never been to his shows before, I had never heard him curse. He thought about it. He was like, "Whoa." He said, "Yeah." He said, "Walk through here, and my mama ain't never heard me cuss." He's like, "Ma, please forgive me for cussing." He's, "I'm apologizing
I
right
was
now."
always interested in how that went down. Like how they hear, like, because I know all of us don't curse in front of our parents. Like all of us, we just don't do it because that's why we, like you said, we all kind of similar. So I just knew, like, no, we don't curse in front of them. They go hear y'all curse at these shows on these records, right? Like how does that go? So that's
Right.
hilarious.
So he was like, "Yeah." He just kind of put his head down there, and he, guess I gotta go with it. And then he just and so, I appreciate that he did. He was conscious enough to know that, like, look, my mom doesn't curse. I've never cursed in front of my mom before,
Right.
but let me acknowledge that, let people know, like, here, my mama here, and this ain't how we get down. So I want you guys to respect her and, show her some love as well. And, and after that, I was like, I gotta come. I just can't not come. And so that one, and then followed by he had another show at the Chop Shop,
Mm.
and so that one was amazing too. And I just really just started feeling like, man, I missed a whole lot. But in the same token, I didn't miss a whole lot because I'm seeing my son just grow into this
Yeah.
every day, and I'm seeing with his performances how everything is paying off for the things that he had been doing. And I just really enjoyed just watching him glow there. And that bucket list, oh my God, when I went
Yeah.
up,
That show was crazy. That
yeah,
show was crazy. The after party, everything was crazy about that show. That was crazy. That
yeah,
was
I didn't make
crazy.
it to the after party. I let him drive my car. I was so worried. I kept on thinking, let him drive your car.
Oh yeah, yeah. That was a yeah. Yeah, that was a great one. That was definitely legendary. And that's crazy. I think about just like one thing because like me, of course, us being around and seeing Walt being 24, it hits us like. But like I just watched the Biggie documentary recently. I of course have to correlate the two just of the situations. And it's like it's amazing like how such a person can just be bigger than life. I see that so much. I see that so much with Walt and how you carry his name. I definitely have to get into the John Walt Foundation because what you've done with his name is amazing as far as the dinner with John fundraisers, the feed the West Side events. Um, I kind of want to know like when did it click in your mind like after I'm saying after of course not after morning but like how long afterwards you said okay I got to get this together and continue his name and build his legacy on.
It was really like um I think after the funeral it kind of clicked in me that this was really, something that happened, that I wasn't dreaming,
Right,
that it wasn't um gonna rewind and I'm gonna wake up and he's like bugging me about something that kids
right,
usually bug their parents about. Um, they hadn't taken any interviews or anything like that. They was trying to reach Saba, they was trying to reach me, and then I was like, you know what? I think I'm ready to speak to somebody. And Channel Two had called and they asked could they come and interview me. And when they came, I told Saba that I didn't want to do this by myself. He can, if they had questions about like the music stuff that you guys have been working on, I feel that you would be the best person to sit here with me and to kind of explain the music and the steps that you guys had taken to get to where you are and how important it is. And so he came and we sat there and they had asked some questions. And the lady asked me like, did I have any, what do I think in the future about my son? And I'm like, well, I want to give scholarships to young people that are interested in the arts, just like my son was. And when we were done with the interview, he looked at me. He was like, "I wanted to do the same thing," and I'm like, "Okay." Again, great minds think alike, and so we talked about that, and they was about to go on tour, and so he hooked me up to speak with someone that runs a nonprofit that he was familiar with, and I reached out to that person, and we met while they were going out on tour, and then when they came back, and I keep saying they like everybody knows who they is. Yeah,
Yeah.
Saba bucket list tour and entire pivot game went. It was the very first all pivot game tour, and they all went out there and they just did an amazing job. But while they're working out there, pumping and doing what they do, and I was here just trying to figure out the best way to start this organization. And when they returned from the tour, Saba and I sat down and we started like. Um, Putting ideas and stuff together on how we were going to do this. And we looked up, it was August, and we were announcing that we were going to do our first fundraiser and that we were launching the John Walt Foundation. So, Walt passed February 8th, 2017. Um, 2 weeks later, it was like the weekend after the funeral. We talked to Channel 2 News, and then it was like, this is what we're doing. And I'm the type of person, like, if I say this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put my 100% behind it. I'm going to work until I fall asleep, like just grinding and busting my butt to make sure that we accomplish whatever it is. And that's what we did. And then we went into John Walt Day. That was our major fundraiser that we did, and it was more than a fundraiser. It was his 21st. It was Walter's 25th birthday. So his birthday is November 25th, and it was his golden birthday, and we just wanted to do a big celebration for his birthday. And we also wanted to raise a little bit of money so that way we can pay out the scholarships to the youth that we wanted to select for the John Walt Foundation.
And like I think it's understated how amazing those John Walt Day shows have been. Like there was three, right? It's been three. I think the last one was a double date, and sold out each time. Each time, and the event in the venue got bigger each time, and once again, like for it to say John Walt Day on that, and for it to do like it's amazing. It really wows me each time, and you make it look effortless, like because like when I watch like when you promote the Feed the West Sides during the pandemic, in the midst of these racial injustice protests, and you guys got together and you guys made it look like it was nothing to go to to go to Costco and go and get donations and just get everyone out there to support because the support is just there. Whenever you guys say move, the people are going to move because they know they trust the brand, they trust you, they trust Walt. You know, and it's a beautiful thing. Can you speak on just get gearing up for those events to feed the West Sides and just knowing that during this time of social injustice, during this time of a pandemic, that you know the city needs support and John Walt Foundation is the place to get it.
Yeah, when the pandemic hit, it was crazy for everybody, and people started dying, people started losing their jobs, being displaced, because they didn't have any place to live, and it was like just all kind of stuff, and everybody just was, afraid to move. We didn't want to move. We didn't want to go outside. We didn't want to do anything, because nobody wanted to contract this unknown disease. They didn't know how it was getting spread so fast and so widely, and we just kind of paused everything that we were doing. Unfortunately, after a while, people started getting like fatigue of sticking in the house, and things started happening, and people started going outside, and then we're having people getting killed, like just the most randomest stuff that you wouldn't even expect to happen during a
Yeah,
pandemic while people are supposed to be. And George Floyd, he's in a whole nother city, and these people that are paid to serve and protect us took his life right in front of our own eyes. A young lady is out with her cell phone recording this, and this man is begging for his life, and they took it. So here in Chicago, we snapped. That's what happened. It was like it was just too much that had occurred, and the people in Chicago snapped, and it was like a whole bunch of organizers, young people, seasoned people that have been out here in the streets protesting and trying to fight the injustices that have been going on in our society. It's like, Breonna Taylor. Um, I can't think of how to pronounce the other young man's name.
My Aubrey.
Yeah, Arbery. The things that happened to them, it wasn't even a police officer that killed him. It was just kind of
Yeah,
like the same thing with Trayvon Martin. This is some rogue person that decided, people that decided that, he should not be doing something instead of just contacting the police if they thought that he was doing something wrong. They decided to take the law in their own hands and to kill this young black man that was minding his own business. He wouldn't mess with
jogging, just jogging.
dog. It wasn't messing with them. And so like all these things are going on. We sitting here, we dying anyway because, there's this invisible enemy that's fighting us. And now y'all just killed this other man right in front of us again. Nah, we
Yeah,
snapped.
yeah,
And that's
as we should have.
people did, and I'm not a person that would have been out, walking down the street protesting all that. That's just not me. My voice comes in a different way. The people that was out there protesting, I'm 100% behind them. Um, but then it was others, and the others that it was too much for them too. So they started looting, they started rioting. So you can't categorize the reason why certain things happen, but you still
Yeah,
can't sit up here and say like why was it even possible for these people to lose their life for just having a regular day that they woke up and went outside and did.
absolutely, absolutely. It's crazy that to see it, and I don't want to get too political, but like to see how we react, black people reacted to the deaths of innocent citizens, and was us to protest and police antagonize it and cause riots, and that was an issue for like months. Like people were just I just saw the news was constantly just talking about this issue. Meanwhile, I saw a group of racists like attack the Capitol, like and like it was like a week story. It lasted for a week. That story was gone. Like that's crazy.
It's crazy, and but that's the world we live in. And I'm like you, I don't want to get political or anything with it, but it's just like those are just the facts that led up into us doing the Feed the West Side. So
Absolutely.
after our people in the communities, the community members started snapping and protesting, and then some people are rioting and some people are looting. It was kind of unsafe, and a lot of people was mad at Mayor Lightfoot about it. I wasn't mad at her because like if I work for the city and I had to go out to these places, I don't know what people gonna do to me. I might have called off that day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like honestly, you might just call off. I'm not getting in the middle of that. So like the
Yeah.
people that were the employees and the workers, and they didn't open up those facilities or the schools or doing the drop off meal distributions. I understood that.
Yeah.
I did. Some other people may not have, but I understood that. But we still needed to make sure that the kids were provided with these meals that they should have had.
Yeah.
Um,
For
I
sure.
know organizations that, or not even organizations, it was people, just like people that we know in our community, people from the music scene, people just from the art scene in general in Chicago, has started making these pop up, distributions for, to give food to people that was in need and to make sure people had essential items. And in the John Walt Foundation, the director of outreach is Good in the Hood, like Jimmy Hood, Fresh Waters.
It's
He's one.
Fresh Waters.
Yeah, so Fresh.
Touch.
Yeah, he was out there jumping around, helping a lot of our friends in the community with their distribution things. And I was seeing that and I was thinking, man, I don't see nobody out west. And then he called me one day. He was like, "No, I don't see nobody out west." And our community is stricken with the same stuff that's going on, and plus it's a food desert, and it's been like that for a long time. We need to do something. I'm like, yeah, we do. So we didn't know how to do it or what to do at that very moment. So I was like, okay, we got to pull a quick little meeting and see how we can do this. And so he's like, okay, we hung up. And as soon as we hung up, like literally like 5 minutes later, I got a call from Chrissy Lopez. And Christy is, I know you're familiar with her, but she's a photographer from the west side of Chicago, Austin area as well. She happened to have moved to LA prior to COVID hitting. and she wanted to try to do something to kind of help with the community and to give back with food too. And I'm like, well, we just literally just talked about this like 5 minutes ago, and she was like, well, I want to do something, can you guys help? I'm like, well, we can do it together. So like whatever you want to do, instead of just making two different things and our people go out to help your people and your people come, since we're doing this, we just do one entity, and that's how we form Feed the West Side. That was on Wednesday.
Man, man.
That was on
on a
Wednesday.
on a walk Wednesday,
On Wild Wednesday. We
always.
called the park district and say, hey, can you guys help us with a space? They call me back and say, Michelle, okay, you can do Columbus Park. The next day, we put out a flyer and asked for donations at 7 p.m.
Wow.
7 p.m. The next
Wow.
morning, I got up. We had enough money from the donations to go shopping, so I went shopping. Chrissy's mom was on the team, and she was shopping at some places. We were just getting everything that we needed, and we got to the location on Saturday morning when we got there and set everything up. And I went to go get our volunteers something to eat. When I came back, it was like so many people. I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. I'm like, but I got to go get some more food because I got more money to spend to go get more food so we can help more people. And two of the people from the arts community, the music community that was there, they was like, we'll go with you to the store. And when we got in the van and I couldn't pull off, they said, did you actually look at what you had? I'm like, no. I was like, you don't need to go to the store. When I turned around and looked, we had so much stuff. I can say I can estimate it was probably about $15,000 worth of things over there. Not the stuff we bought, but just
Amazing.
donations. Because people was coming
Amazing.
in if they brought diapers, they brought 4 boxes, 4 big cases of diapers from Sam's Club or Costco, or if they brought waters, they was bringing 4 or 5 cases of water. So like everything that they brought, they didn't just bring one of those items. They brought enough to feed one family for about a month or so, and we had to literally stop what we were doing and to regroup. So the setup that we had, which was a great setup, we had to make 3 versions of that because we just had
Yeah.
so many things, and it was amazing. I want to say that day we served about 600 people, and
Man.
we still have money left. So I was like, we got to do this again. So
Yeah. Because don't get it confused. It wasn't a one time, but it was like what, 3 4 months.
yeah, we just kept on going. So like we figured out that first time, like, okay, we got to prepare and do this in advance. So we worked with getting a space. Another organization allowed us to utilize a space. And we had donations dropped off there, and we were able to prepackage everything. And then we had just a team, and we just, did this on the fly again and put everything together to start our first template of how we were going to do it. And we made it work. We made it work every day after work. So, like, I do work in the daytime. So, my regular job. So, I work full time with my regular job and full time with the John Walt Foundation. So once I would get off of work at 3 o'clock, I would hop in my car and go shopping and buy all the unperishable items, and then take them and drop them off at our storage unit. Every day I did this
Wow.
to build
Wow.
it. And then the week of the event, we started on Wednesday, started unpacking those things to take it over to the place where we were storing and packing. Fresh and I would do that. Our leadership team that we had working, which was amazing, Nicole Humphreys, and also Kesha, they just really just like Mayor Fresh left them right there and was like, okay, do what y'all do. When we came back, they had everything set up, ready to go, had our volunteers ready to go. We socially distanced. We made sure everybody had face masks and gloves and hand sanitizer. So it just packing the bags and everything, we just had to make sure that we were cautious for everything, especially with the COVID situation. The girls were on it, make sure everybody's temperature was right, check them in. Um, just we just had to be so cautious, and it was like we got to help people, but then you got to be careful too. So um, it was crazy. Did we hate? We did it. No, and we're gonna continue to do it. Soon as it
Absolutely.
gets warm again, since we don't have a spot, we don't have our own physical location for the John Walt Foundation. We can't just like do pop ups all in the winter and in the cold.
Right.
months because we don't have any place to be. But once it warms up, so we may start again in May. If May is too cold, we'll start in June and do the same things that we
That's
did.
amazing. That's amazing. And going to another great thing you guys are doing, because like we talked about the music of Walt and the music around Walt, and we talked about education in your life before that. And what you're doing is combining them both with the scholarships and the John Walt Foundation you guys are doing with the um, for the arts. And you also have a daughter who's a dancer as well. Like not only is Walt in music, you have a daughter who's a dancer. So arts also seems to be in your life as well as education. So talk about how important it was to do these scholarships for the students in art, and also doing the Dinner with Walt fundraiser.
Yeah. So they these kids kind of got that arts thing like it's hereditary. It's like they got it just from just being a part of this family. Um, I was a part of a rap collective. Um, when I was in high school, I danced. My brother was a hip hop artist. My husband, my
See,
sister,
I didn't know this. I didn't know this. It's amazing.
yeah, and then John Doe is my cousin, so
Of course.
she's amazing. And so like when the kids were younger, um, they just did like all kind of stuff, and it's not like I even showed them like I did this stuff. That's the crazy part about it.
All
Uh,
right.
it's just like it was just in their blood. And the hip hop collective that I was a part of, two legendary hip hop artists from Chicago I worked with was Direct from Triple Darkness and Never from Crucial Conflict. So those was
That's
my
amazing.
those were my neighbors. We lived on the same block, and you know how it is. You know that's who
Yeah.
you fit, and you kind of just start forming again like mass. And we just started forming. And I can think about our first song. It sounded like. Are you familiar with Another Bad Creation?
Yeah. In the back. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Little
It
guys
was.
that it sounded
Yeah.
like like our song sounded like that because everybody didn't their voices hadn't really
Yeah. I
matured.
didn't drop yet. Yeah.
Like
Like
people
group home a little bit, and yeah. Like
but
yeah.
that's my people, and I love them dearly, and they were able to be successful. But I feel like with arts and education, they go hand in hand. To be a writer, to write your own songs, to be able to write a poem, to be able to draw a picture, you have to have the history and the knowledge behind what you're doing if you want to paint the proper picture of what you want people to know. So, like, there are a lot of songs and a lot of artists that just make songs about, random stuff, popping your booty and, stuff like that.
Right.
That requires nothing but a good beat,
Yeah. Pretty
but
much.
it's artists that really take time and they take their pride in giving us a story, and it doesn't have to be
Right.
something that's important to the
Right. They're
community.
students.
it's
They're
just
true students.
it's just their story, is what happened
Right.
in their life, or something that they witnessed. And in order to give us that story, you got to have a vocabulary that can describe. And I used to always tell Walt that all the time. It's like, okay, what word could you have used differently? And he's like, Mom, why we got to go through this? Like, if he started explaining stuff like in the rap, I'm like, because if you are an artist, if you are performing this song and it's a great song, but now you want to do this song and somebody say, could you do this? But can you do it um, without the explicit words? What you gonna put
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
So I
Pretty
think
much.
that you got to be educated enough, or intelligent enough to know how to maneuver those words and in your vocabulary to be able to paint those perfect pictures. So with our scholarship recipients, um, Saba and Walt, they both had received scholarships when they were in high school. I don't know if Saba had them for elementary school, but Walt had them for elementary school, high school, and college. And they shared the same scholarship for high school, which was Link Unlimited. And they had to do workshops and they had to go do this after school. And they really didn't like doing the extra schoolwork type of stuff. They want to do some art stuff and, music. This is what I want to do. And it just wasn't anything for them to do like that. So we thought that it would be probably best when we start our scholarships is to make sure that we do it for kids that's interested in the same type of thing that they were interested in, and give them a way to kind of not have certain barriers that they ran into.
Now, as we if we've seen, as you talked about with the John Walt Foundation, you guys were one. Well, especially well, you being the brains and the heart behind it. Like you are able to kind of ironically pivot according to how society reacts and stuff to as far as the reaction with Feed the West Side. The entire movement is a reaction to a tragedy, and I'm kind of curious. Do you see what's the goals going forward with John Wall Foundation? Do you see it going beyond Chicago? Do you see it remaining just a foundation of Chicago? What's the goals moving forward as in this unpredictable world we live in now?
So unpredictably, we ended up doing our workshops virtually last year, and
Yeah.
when we did the workshops, they were able to be seen and attended by any youth all over the country. So when we put our workshops out, they were in partnership with the Chicago Public Library, and all of the workshops are or had been um, facilitated by members of Pivot Gang and
Mm.
also some other Chicago people in the arts community. And when we put those things out there, and it was on Twitter that this is what we were doing, we had a huge group of young people from all over to want to see and learn whatever we were trying to teach about the arts in the workshop. But one of the workshops, I'm not gonna name which one because I want everybody to go see all of them because they were all amazing.
All
But
right.
one of the workshops, we had about 3,000 people on the live stream.
Wow.
So, that wasn't just Chicago, that was all over. We had another one that had about almost 3 or 400 people in the live stream. And usually workshops be like 25 people. So it's like um, a couple of them were like 25. And we just had that opportunity to just give it, our all. And other people from all over the country were able to take part in the workshops. We would like to. I don't know if we have the capacity to do that, reach out to other cities, or we might be able to do like in the suburban areas of Chicago. But right now, I see us just being um, predominantly doing things here in Chicago. If God bless us with the opportunity to do so and make it bigger, then guess what? Make it as big as we can handle. Anything
Absolutely. Absolutely.
we can handle, right?
Absolutely. And like I kind of told you before we start recording. In my core, I love to talk about music and what people listen to. It's my favorite thing to ask someone like what's your music taste. So I'm definitely curious now. Like I never knew you as a rapper. I'm amazed by that. So I kind of want to know like the music you kind of grew up with, the music you raised. I'm saying Walt and the kids with, and what you listening to nowadays
Oh, what's crazy is
outside of Pivot Gang,
you
outside of Pivot Gang.
Chicago music fan, like of all these
Absolutely.
stuff. So, um, but as far as new music, I really don't have like a favorite new artist or a favorite new album. My favorite artist as far as like music is Erica Badu. I just
Mm.
love everything about Erica Badu. And my favorite hip hop artist, now I just told you I don't curse, right? My favorite artist,
Don't
um,
say too short. You don't curse. You go.
no,
I don't curse. We're gonna play too short.
no, that's actually accurate that I don't curse, but I like too short. Um, so like that's the era I grew up in. So like
Right. Yeah.
NWA, when they came out, I just loved NWA. And the funny thing about it is like I gravitated toward Ice Cube, you know,
Mm.
Easy E, everybody was easy, but it's like something about him was just different to me. It was just like again that like man type of thing. I just
Yeah.
like, he it was a
He
whole
was he was always militant and more like I don't know. I won't say intelligent, but like he just had more of an intelligent. I'm
it was
saying.
an intelligence type of thing that came.
Yeah.
So I was more
Plus he wrote all their rap, so
right.
it goes with as well. He was the mind behind it.
And so, but you didn't know that as a kid. Like I'm 14
Didn't it?
and I don't know that he's writing these songs. I'm just thinking that like this is a group, everybody write their own stuff and whatever.
That
It's like I
you know how
gravitated toward him.
You know how crazy it is. You're an NWA fan. Like only other person I know that listens to NWA is Sal. That's the only person I know. That's the only person I know. So
And
that's crazy.
me and the kid always have like the most randomest stuff that has similar.
That boy love Easy.
Now I like Easy a lot too.
Yeah,
I just like I said, I gravitated more toward Ice Cube. Just like it just seemed like he was gonna do something different and be a lot bigger. So he was a
yeah,
lot bigger than Dre. Did some great things, but Cube he moved in different ways. He was able to start
yeah,
doing movies. He was started producing his music, his movies, and all those type of things. And it's
yeah,
just a thing. And then like even to like legal stuff, you ain't never seen him in trouble about
yeah.
like just doing some
Never,
random way out stuff. He might say some
never.
and stuff, but he ain't doing no random way out stuff that he didn't got locked up because he got guns on him or drugs
Nope.
possession. So I just picture him as this the family man. I picture him as the businessman, and I picture him as somebody that's just gonna make sure that he can make money for him and his family and to be able to
Absolutely,
provide. So
absolutely.
that's me, a true hustler.
And
You
he
know,
can rap his ass off. Yeah.
yeah. But the crazy
Also,
thing,
you love Jay Z then. If you a true hustler, you love Jay Z then.
I love how he moves. I wasn't really a big Jay Z fan initially,
Mm,
but like when I started seeing how he moves and stuff, I liked his moves. I respect his moves more
for
than I
sure.
respected his music initially, but I like him a lot. Cube, once he started, when he got out the music and started doing more so acting and stuff, and then he tried to come back and make albums, so I'm like, no,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You should have stayed.
well enough alone. I love you. I love all your songs and stuff that you did
Yeah,
when you came out, but now that's you in a different lane. And so that lane, you stay in that movie making lane.
yeah, yeah. Stay focused over there, but just stay focused over there. But Shell, hey, this is amazing. I really appreciate you talking to me for this last hour. A lot of stuff I didn't know about you that I learned today. I think this was a great interview. I think this was a great conversation.
But thank you so much. I really appreciate, and I've watched your and listened to your podcast before you started doing it um on YouTube and everything. So
Yeah.
watch you grow and you're doing amazing. And I just love the versatility and just all the different great people, the great guests that you're inviting and welcoming them to your hood.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That was a dope way to put it. I'm still on that. I'm still on that too. Welcome. Yeah, I like that. But please tell everyone where they can find you, where they can support the John Walt Foundation and all your future endeavors.
Oh, definitely. So this is what my brain always freezes. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Facebook is the easiest, John Walt Foundation. Instagram and Twitter is exactly the same. I think it's John Walt F.
FDN.
Yeah, I always mix those last letters up.
Yeah.
You can find us there. Anything that we're doing, we try to keep you guys up to date with that. We will be doing our future website initiatives and all those good things. Since we weren't able, one major thing is we did not have the opportunity to do our John Walt Day last year, so we didn't
Mm,
have the opportunity to do the fundraiser and to make the money that we needed to do to pay out for scholarships. But we are going to pay out those scholarships anyway. So if it's anybody that you know or any people that just want to support and make sure that we are able to provide for young artists, inspiring to do some great things in our community, definitely donate John Walt Foundation on our website, which is just look up John Walt Foundation and you can donate there, or you can just reach out to us and we got any kind of way you want us to receive your donation. Okay.
absolutely. And you guys taking donations year round, or is it just for the events?
All the time. All
All
the
the
time.
time.
We take it all the time. We got some like crazy that some people just donate all the time. And I'm like, wow. And we haven't set it up yet to be able to do reoccurring, but it's some people that just are so supportive and they every month they give us a donation, which is straight love. Straight love.
Absolutely. Thank you again, Chef, for coming on the show. This was amazing. Like I said, have a great rest of your day, and most love, most love.
Same here.